Hello! Tis the season, so I come to you with a radical idea. Instead of a bunch of Apple Store gift cards, this Christmas you should pick out some books at your local bookstore to give to your loved ones. And this will not only be more personal and heartfelt, but if they are careful, your loved ones that is, they will still be able to enjoy your gift for a long time from now. I understand that it's a hard sell. Especially if there's kids in the house. Like, for real, a crummy old book instead of a smartphone or a game console. Mom, my friends are gonna make fun of me if they think I don't have the means to consume. Oh god, are we poor? Let them make fun now, child. Years on, when the Walt Disney Corporation owns the air and the moon, when the only acceptable currencies are blood and PepsiCo stock, having physical assets will be a hot commodity. Besides, no child should have access to any technology more powerful than a flip phone. I still own my Nix Mobile Neo Plus that I bought in 2010. It makes and receives calls, it has an MP3 player, I can listen to the radio on it, and it even browses the internet. But I digress. The rules are: the book should be fun, accessible, and engaging, so no House of Leaves here. With that established, here are the top 10 books to give as gifts this Christmas. Number 10 is The Aleph and Other Stories by Jorge Luis Borges. It's no secret that I love short story collections. It's just more bang for your buck the way I see it. And this specific assortment by JLB is top shelf stuff from beginning to end. There's 20 short stories packed in here, some of course are 1 or 2 pages long, but they are enjoyable nonetheless. The main theme is that every story is related in a way to legacy, and the nature of it from different historical and philosophical perspectives, from ancient Babylonia to post-war Argentina. I think it's something interesting to think about during these times. Beyond the colorful lights and the familiar smells of Yuletide, there's the cold, unforgiving winter. This is the season of death, we shouldn't forget it. Number 9 is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Yes, I know, alright. If you are the sort to care about this sort of thing and aren't able to separate the art from the artist, I do have a solution. Buy the book secondhand. This is arguably J.K. Rowling's weakest book. She was still very much figuring things out as a writer and as a person, so the main appeal of the novel is just the sheer creativity and ambition behind it. It does deliver though. Everything is so vibrant and, well, magical. This is a great gift for a young child too. It's simple, fun and clean while remaining fairly entertaining. Have you read it recently? For real, I don't remember Harvey having this much personality, and Ron is funny and brave. Maybe I had been conflating the book with the movie. This is also one of 2 entries on this list that are actually tangentially related to Christmas. The second one being number 8, Mort by Terry Pratchett. Which is stretching it a little bit. Like, yes, the Discworld embodiment of death did once fill in for Santa Claus, and I will argue again that this is the most depressing season. It registers a very high suicide rate, which if you're feeling blue, you should try to at least call somebody before things escalate too far. It is a dangerous condition. Anyway, the premise here is simple. Death takes up an apprentice. Hilarity ensues. But then we learn that Death is maybe a little bit too caring, a little bit too nice. Pratchett had a bit of a penchant for placing 3-dimensionality in places that you wouldn't expect. Number 7 is a psalm for the Wild Build by Becky Chambers. What would it be like to live in a world that has ended? Not by an apocalypse necessarily, I mean, what if things just kind of ended, but like in a good way? Yes, the robots did become self-aware at one point, but instead of killing us, they just kind of left. Broke the cycle in a way. This is a catalyst event that ended the age of strife. No more wars or crime. Everyone just kind of chills. There's a point in this novella where a robot and a monk get into a discussion about nihilism. The robot makes an interesting point. We are at the end of the day animals cursed with a conscience. We humans, we exist without purpose, but yearn for one. The robot is simply pointing out that the human spirit isn't meant to be contained. We crave danger and adventure, but this book is presenting you with this cozy, high-trust utopia. So, of course, people are gonna be a bit restless. This is a good read for a teenager. They'll like the vibes here. Number 6 is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Brought to you by English comedian and co-presenter of Pointless, the older, crossier British version of the charming Danish trivia show, Geoffrey Javella. The Thursday Murder Club combines classic mystery solving with an eclectic cast that we get to know across as of the time this video was made. 4 books, with a 5th one coming in 2025. The setting is what really got me interested in the first place. One of the main locations is a retirement community, and the 4 main characters are retirees with a lot of free time in their hands, looking into cold cases. I understand that the whole reopening a criminal investigation is a bit of a weird tendency that I would say is likely directly derived from the rise of true crime podcasts, which is a whole thing that I don't want to get into. I think the premise works here. I came for geriatric Scooby-Doo. I got what I f***ing deserved. Number 5 is Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino. We live in a strange age. There's this weird intellectualism, specifically within academic circles, where people will pretend to understand and enjoy authors like James Joyce and Marcel Proust. Then, when you try to get them to elaborate, they repeat the same bull about religion and nationalism in Ulysses, and if you are lucky, they'll bring up the whole remorse of consciousness deal. Those people are empty. If they did read the book, they are just parroting whatever their modern literature professor told them they are supposed to take from it. You don't want to be an intellectual, not like them. This is a reminder: go outside, touch grass. Italo Calvino is often mentioned when talking about these kinds of authors, but thankfully, instead of writing a 4,000-page novel about separation anxiety, like Proust, Calvino wrote a fun 165-page journey around the world. The prose is beautiful, the themes can be complex if you want to, it can be a dissertation on the nature of culture and language, or it can be about Marco Polo talking to a Mongol emperor, and just refusing to mention any actual details about his native Venice because he fears this dude will just show up and conquer it. Number 4 is The Mysterious Art Styles by Agatha Christie. I stand by the fact that Agatha Christie is the best introduction a young mind can have to mystery as a genre. The main issue that I had in this case came down to, well, where to start. Inside of you are 2 wolves. The first one urges that Murder on the Orient Express is the most well-known, so it might excite a new reader a bit more. The second one tells that And Then There Were None is the best mystery proper, so the reader might enjoy the twists and turns a bit more. The way I see it, it's always best to start at the beginning. So here we are, with the introduction of one detective, Hercule Poirot, who is actually Belgian. I would have bet my life on the fact that this guy was supposed to be French. This is your classic murder mystery with Detective Poirot looking into the death of Lady Emily Inglethorpe. The plot thickening as we narrow down the suspects. Vintage stuff from the Queen of Mystery herself. Number 3 is 3 Men on a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome. Here's the deal. From the offset, this one is one of those books that kind of makes you feel like you are hanging out with the boys. This is basically a road trip with your friends from college, except instead of your friends from college, it's 3 wealthy Englishmen and a fox terrier Terrier, and instead of the road, it's the water. Gotta love the doggy. His name is Montmorency. He is the smartest one out of the four main characters. He was actually against taking the trip, but got outvoted, yay democracy. There's also such a specificity and detail to the prose that the journey itself is actually easy to recreate. If you have the time, all the pubs and inns mentioned are still open, except for the Crown Marlow, which closed in 2008. Thanks Obama. Number 2 is The Halcyon Drift by Brian M. Stableford. There's this space between the golden age of sci-fi and the more character-driven new age that, for most, remains ironically unexplored. This entry is me inviting you from one sci-fi nerd to another to boldly go. The Halcyon Drift is the first book of the Hooded Swan saga. It follows Granger, who, after being marooned alone in an uninhabited planetoid for 2 whole years and subsequently rescued and charged the coast of the rescue effort, which does hit a bit close to home, fellow Americans. Well, spaceship pilot extraordinaire Granger finds himself in debt. Don't feel too bad for him, though he does basically become an indentured servant, yeah, but the ship he pilots, the Black Swan, yeah dude, he's basically just out there driving a space Ferrari, so who's a loser here? I do feel like I have to tell you, the main character is kind of a No, it doesn't get better, or well, it becomes less noticeable once the series goes full space opera, but that's like 2 books down the line. The main redeeming quality to his character in this book is, funnily enough, a space parasite called the Wind that gives us a glimpse into the inner machinations of his mind, revealing that he isn't completely self-centered. Which I get that it's not actually part of him, but you know what? You ain't perfect either. Number 1 is The Souvenir Museum by Elizabeth McCracken. From short story collection Thou Art, and onto short story collection Thou Shalt Return. I've been trying to close these lists with something a bit more unexpected, but honestly, this one just kind of fits. It's about family. It's funny and it's got a cute, colorful cover. It just looks like a gift, you know? The whole thing is even bookended by a wedding. Elizabeth McCracken is just the best at short-form storytelling. If you like this one, check out her novellas. It's surprisingly difficult to find an author this good at writing slice-of-life type stories nowadays. If that's your thing, Ellie Mack is your gal. This is a kind of gift that you can give to just about anyone. Your kids, your grandma, your dad. They are bound to like at least one story in here, and even if not, the book makes for a nice coffee table decoration. With that, I bid you goodbye for now. Like, share and subscribe for more lists just like this one. Comment down below a book that you think would make a good gift. Have a lovely rest of the day, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwasi Kwanzaa, a tip-top tet, and a solemn and dignified Ramadan.